Hey guys, and welcome back to the totally normal Gran Turismo 5 playthrough. If you haven't watched episode 1, I recommend doing so, cause it's gonna provide a lot of context on where we are now. Anyways, into the world of Gran Turismo we go.
Now, where do we go from here?
Now, I had no idea where to go from here, so I just went money grinding for a while. And in the process, I reached level 7.
I can now take part in the amateur series.
Let's see what events we have in the amateur series. I checked the events list and I found NRA Roadster Cup. Yeah, I guess I can knock this one out really quick. So I went to the dealership and bought a Unos Roadster. Our new addition to the garage, the 2007 Mazda Roadster RS. Anyways, let's go do NRA Roadster Cup. The first and the only race is at Tsukuba Circuit. So, let's see how I do. So the first corner came around and it went smoothly. But sadly, no overtakes. The next corner came around and I overtook this gray MX-5. And then I also overtook this green MX-5. And then the braking zone came up and it went okay. But again, no overtakes. And then it took me a while to catch up to the other MX-5s. And when it was time to brake, I overtook this red MX-5. And then I went for it and overtook this brown MX-5. And then it took me another lap to catch up to the other two Miatas. The first corner came up and I went for it and I overtook this light gray Miata. And then I went for it again on the next corner and overtook Streak's Miata. Get it? Because his Miata is blue? But yeah, after overtaking Streaks, I had no issues with keeping my first place and winning the race. Which earned me 8,700 credits, which is a lot more than Sunday Cup. And yeah, that's NRA Roadster Cup. Now, as I said in the previous episode, in this game you get prize cards for completing these events. So let's see what I get for completing NRA Roadster Cup. A Mazda Kusabi Concept. I was looking at the specs of this car, and I noticed that the Kusabi is a front-engine, front-wheel drive car.
In conclusion, we can use this car for FF Challenge.
And if you're wondering, unlike Gran Turismo 4, you can actually use concept cars in the main career mode. I know that has nothing to do with the challenge, but I thought it would be fun to mention. Anyways, let's do FF Challenge. The first race is at Suzuka East. So, let's see how I do. Starting off strong with the Kusabi. Now, I know this car is slightly underpowered, but it still fits my needs. The first corner came up and I managed to beat the Integra and the 147. And then I overtook the Honda Accord. And then I used the handling of this car to my advantage to beat the Renault Megane. And I gotta say, the handling and the top speed of this thing really makes it stand out from the others. And on lap number 3, I accidentally did a small drift. But either way, with the handling and the top speed of the Mazda Kusabi, I managed to build a 10-second lead and win the race. Earned 4,000 credits and reached level 8. The second race was held at Clubman Stage Route 5, another track that features tricky corners. So the first corner came up and I managed to beat the Mitsubishi Mirage and the Alfa Romeo 166. On the next corner, I used the cornering strategy to catch up to the Seat Ibiza, and also beating the 2004 Honda Civic. And yeah, my Mazda Kusabi was so fast that it kept me in first for the whole race. Either way, I won the race. And earned another 4,000 credits. The third and the final race was held at Deep Forest Raceway. So the first U-turn came up and I managed to beat the yellow Integra and the Renault Megane. The next set of corners came up and I managed to beat the Nissan Primera and the Peugeot 307. But either way, the FF challenge was really easy. Insert explosion here. But yeah, even though I crashed at lap 1, I still managed to recover and build an 8-second lead on top of that. But either way, I just cruised to the finish line and won the race. And earned my well-deserved 4,000 credits. And yeah, that's FF Challenge. Now let's see what we get as a prize car for completing FF Challenge. An SIR2 Civic, which we can use for the Japanese 90s challenge. What do we do now? I guess I'll go do World Compact Cup. But first, I need to check my garage if I have an appropriate car for this event. And got a Suzuki wagon which I'll never use.
Fine, I'll use it this one time.
But the only issue with that is the Suzuki wagon has 61 horsepower. Meanwhile, the competition is twice as fast, which means the Suzuki wagon needs to be upgraded.
Before I forget,
Now let's go to the tuning shop and buy some upgrades. In the end, I bought a high RPM turbo kit, stage 1 engine upgrade, titanium racing exhaust, and a sports ECU. Anyways, let's go to World Compact Cup now. The first race is at London Circuit, so let's see how I do. Insert explosion here. At first, everyone started pulling away from me. And yeah, it took me a while to gain back the time I lost. But then this sharp corner came around and I managed to beat the Mini Cooper and the Nissan March. And since this is a city track, there's a lot of sharp corners. But either way, a sharp corner came around and I managed to beat the old Civic. Another sharp corner and I overtook the Opel Tigra. The final corner came around and I managed to beat the Volkswagen Golf. Now everything was going great, until I noticed the Mini Cooper started to catch up. But given how sharp corners are in London Circuit, he didn't stand a chance. That is, until we got to the third and the final lap. The third lap began and the rivalry between me and the Mini Cooper continued. Now, I kinda had to hold off the Mini Cooper for the rest of the lap. which is easier said than done. But I made it to the finish line in time and won the race. And earned 3,500 credits. The next race was held at Madrid Mini. The race started. The rivalry between me and the Mini Cooper continued as we entered the first corner. The first braking zone came up and I managed to beat the Mini Cooper, the Nissan March, and the Civic. As we entered the second straightaway, I managed to catch up to the Golf and the Tigra, and to also overtake them. The second lap started and I could hear the Mini Cooper catching up to me, as he was right on my tail. This race would have been really easy if it wasn't for the one issue with this car. I thought I was done with the Mini Cooper, but the Mini Cooper wasn't done with me. The third lap began and the rivalry continued. At that moment, I wished I had a normal compact instead of this piece of shit. But luckily, I was able to hold the Mini Cooper off until lap 3. The home stretch came along and I just cruised to the finish line and won the race, with the Mini Cooper right behind me. And also earning another 3,500 credits. The third and the final race was held at Capering Inside Layout. The third race began and the rivalry between me and the Mini continued. But anyways, the first corner came around and I managed to beat the Nissan March. And then it took me a while to catch up to the other racers. But then on the straight I managed to catch up to the Civic. And then later overtaking the Tigra and the Golf. And yeah, I sped this part up because it's pretty boring. And the second lap began. And yeah, nothing really much happened on lap 2 either. Yeah, let's just say the Mini Cooper took a while to catch up to me. And the final lap began. A braking zone was coming up, so I braked. Because why wouldn't I? It's a braking zone. You're meant to brake there. Anyways, a speed section is coming up, and you all know what that means. Time to turn into a roadblock. The roadblock strategy worked, allowing me to build a bigger top speed than the Mini Cooper. And as a braking zone was coming up, I was ready for a safe victory. As I went through the final sets of corners, the Mini Cooper started to catch up. And I gotta say, this was probably the closest finish yet. As the Mini Cooper was about to overtake me, I tried to block it, but then he turned in the opposite direction. Either way, I still won the race and earned my well-deserved 3,500 credits, and also reaching level 9, and earning an additional 10,000 credits for winning the championship. And yeah, that's World Compact Car Cup. After all that struggling, let's see what I get for completing World Compact Cup. A Hummel Burley net, which we can use for TOS France Championat. Now, I don't really know what I could do in episode 3, but yeah, I have a lot of fun events to choose from, so anything's possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in episode 3.